really going to do a hike, just a little bit explore some of the historical features of the park. There's a lot of people around. It's Wednesday afternoon. Kind of hoped that coming early in the day and in the middle of the week we could avoid some of the quote-unquote tourists, but apparently not. You just probably can never avoid tourists at Valley Forge. Trying to stay away from the more touristy spots, like we're not going anywhere near the visitor center or the Memorial Arch. Those tend to be the most heavily crowded places. Right now we are going towards Washington's headquarters, the old Valley Forge train station here. It's kind of neat to look at, neat to explore. We've been here before, but we'll take you along. There are some nice hiking trails at Valley Forge. Some of them can be quite steep, quite rocky and difficult. Tend not to hike here too much anymore though because of the crowds. I like to hike alone. I like to be in the woods by myself. It's not easy to get that. Obviously, we're not far out of Philadelphia. The King of Prussia area has just grown exponentially in the last 10 years. So there's just lots more people around generally than there ever used to be. The Horseshoe Trail does go through here. It starts here actually. Ends at the Appalachian Trail up on Stony Mountain. It's like 140 miles.
Something like that, yeah.
It doesn't look like the train station is actually open today. I mean, you can go in the train station. It's like a museum now. That's the back of the old train station. I'm pretty sure that's a freight line now, what runs through those tracks that we just showed you, and on the other side of the tracks is the Schuylkill River. That's Washington's headquarters right there. There's just always a solemn feel in this park to me, which is why I used to like coming here. This is Washington's headquarters. There's like an old living room, and I feel like we were in there before and I can't remember, like a library. Obviously upstairs are the buildings. I mean the bedrooms. It's obviously very early American furniture, just what you'd expect from that time period. It is a neat place to look around.
Do you have questions, or do you want like a little spiel about the house? Or?
Sure, if you feel like it.
So it's the Isaac Potts house that Washington and his staff rented out and used as their headquarters. So it is the original building. Keep that in mind as you explore. The structure itself is what is original. The furnishings that you see in the room are a mix of period and replica pieces. Honestly, only a few period pieces. Most of it's replica and reproduction. But all chosen based on good evidence for things that would have been in use at the time. Would have been a very crowded house during this encampment. 25 to 30 people would have been working here by day and sleeping here by night. And that's just the people that are kind of tethered to the house. That's not counting the generals coming for meetings, the lifeguard defending the vicinity, messengers delivering or receiving information. So it would have been just a very crowded work environment. Most of those folks are actually domestic staff, a combination of free paid servants and enslaved people that are handling all the domestic needs of the household. Sometimes I kind of lump Martha Washington in with them because she arrives in February, stays until June, so she's here for 4 of the 6 months. And while she's here, she's more likely than not overseeing that domestic person.
Okay.
This room would have been used most likely by Washington's support staff, what he referred to as his military family. Most of those are aides de camp, so 6 to 8 young men doing all the paperwork. You know, they're drafting documents, a variety of documents at Washington's request. They're drafting correspondence, orders, reports, you name it. They're building up professional and political relationships with General Washington. So some of these guys are pretty young. They're in their 20s. But before long, by virtue of them building up that degree of trust and him bestowing so much responsibility on them, some of these guys are really going to move on to bigger things as time goes on. The two most notable, Alexander Hamilton and James McHenry, are both working in this room at different times throughout this encampment. And obviously, Hamilton becomes first Secretary of the Treasury, McHenry the third Secretary of War. And frankly, there are more people in here that probably would be household names if they just lived longer. Guys like John Lawrence, he was a very promising young man, but he got killed in a skirmish not long before this war ended. So he didn't have the chance to really prove himself further. Now, the next room down, General Washington's office. So he was running the show from in there. He was trying to navigate the Army through all of these simultaneous crises that they have to deal with here at Valley Forge. And of course, as the Commander-in-Chief, people are expecting him to have solutions. You know, they're expecting him to resolve these problems. How do we get enough food? How do we get enough supplies? Just the issue of illness. By the end of this encampment, more than 10% of the soldiers stationed here have died from illness. So imagine being the leader of that organization. And he's not just trying to hold them together, he's simultaneously trying to professionalize and standardize their training. So that is a tall task. And all of this is happening while his authority is being kind of questioned and undermined to a degree. He's been on a bit of a losing streak lately, and you have people both in Congress and in the military that are starting to think maybe we don't have the right guy in the role of Commander-in-Chief. So it's just one more thing to juggle in addition to all those Valley Forge specific issues. So not his favorite winter of the war. Now, everything up above us is bedrooms. The one that we believe General Washington and Martha used stands out because he rented out a 4-poster bed for their comfort. So they have stability, privacy, to a greater degree than anyone else. I mean, not much, but still more than others. Everyone else is really setting up a camp cot or a bedroll wherever it makes sense. The room above this, we set up reflecting aides de camp sleeping in there, but there's evidence indicating that Martha may very well have entertained in that room during the day as well. The small room above the end of the hallway, we currently have it set up reflecting the brief visit of General Charles Lee, and that, he was barely here. You know, he was here for a little while, he left. But to me, that really highlights the transient nature of what's happening here. He's one of the highest ranking people in this army. So, who was in that room the night before General Charles Lee? I don't know, because nobody's saying, "Dear Diary, I slept in this room last night." So I don't know, but whoever it was, they probably got kicked out. And if they were fairly high ranking, maybe they kicked somebody else out. It might have had a domino effect. Right. So we talk about all the 25, maybe even as many as 30 people living and working in this building. It's over 6 months. It's going to fluctuate. The third floor is probably servants, enslaved people, sometimes aides de camp. And then when you're done with the main block of the building, you have the kitchen out there. I started off by telling you guys how original the building is, that the building is the artifact. We want you to use the handrail on the way up and down the stairs just for safety, but like so much of the building, that's original. So you're using the same one Washington and Company did when you use it. So feel free to explore, keep taking pictures or video. If you have questions, Emily and I are both happy to answer.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So it is the original structure.
kind of dark, but I think you can see enough detail. Like I said, typical early American detail, furnishings. I'm guessing if there was 25 to 30 people sleeping in here, there would have been, I don't know that they would have had all this furniture. I mean, you would have had some people sleeping on the floor. Now, I believe there were other farmhouses in the area used as well. We can go take a look at one of those up the road. And this is a very tiny room. So this would have been, he said, where the servants may have slept. And there's a door there. I don't know what would have been or what is on the other side of that.
There's 2 doors.
Get through there. Let's take a look at the kitchen. I love that you can come here to hike and get history at the same time. What we're coming up to now are some of the log huts that the troops were supposed to have stayed in. I don't know, there's been like conflicting stories on that. I don't know if these are really just made up for what is now the National Historic Park, or if there were actually huts like this that soldiers stayed in. But little log houses like these are scattered throughout Valley Forge. Kind of tough to read. Commander-in-Chief's Guards, an elite security force. Not sure if that's easy to read or not. It's quite weathered. You can see a little spring house there. Of course, no water. It's been so dry in Pennsylvania recently. But let's go check that out. No rain, I should say, for months on end. In pretty good shape. Not sure if this is original either to one of the farms that was here. I mean, this is definitely Pennsylvania fieldstone. Here's another one of those Commander-in-Chief's Guards. Signs might be easier to read. I'm going to stop that and read it. These huts would not have been warm or weatherproof, even though they do have fireplaces in them. There was a lot of sickness and dying going on at the encampment at Valley Forge. Would not have been a pleasant winter. For some reason this one's locked. There you can see across the field what is now referred to as Washington's headquarters, the Isaac Potts house. There's lots of Potts in the area. There's Pottstown, there's Pottsgrove Townships, 2 or 3 of them. There's Pottsgrove Manor up in Pottstown. They were a big name in southeastern Pennsylvania during the Revolutionary War times. So this is Lord Stirling's headquarters. This is not open to the general public, so you can't go in. It doesn't actually look like they take care of it either. It's like they have kind of like a barn attached to the house. Kind of tough to see in those windows, but just another old historical building used during the Valley Forge encampment. We'll go over there and look at that building too. Just get you a panoramic view of the back here. These windows are kind of high up. I'm not going to be able to see in them. This was that kind of what looks like an animal barn. Not sure what this little building would have been, but I'm guessing it's locked.
I didn't look in.
Oh. Let's take a walk back around front. There was a placard that's an historical placard. It looks quite new. I don't remember seeing it before, so let's see what it says. There was, inside one of these rooms, I could see in the window, was a fireplace. It was kind of neat looking, but it was so dark the camera would not focus on it. front of the house. I just love these old Pennsylvania historical farmhouses. Obviously, it used to have a front porch, or an overhang, or something. But let's go see what this says. Yeah, I saw a bag of Quikrete inside, so maybe they're restoring it. The barn looks in pretty good shape. Quarters of Major General William Alexander, Lord Sterling, Continental Army during the Valley Forge encampment, December 19, 1777 to June 19, 1778. Major James Monroe, 5th President of the United States, also quartered here as aide-de-camp to Sterling, home of Parson William Curry, erected by the PA Society Sons of the Revolution, December 19, 1975. I don't remember ever seeing this. We usually drive down this road pretty fast, so it's easier to just come right by it. Yeah, let's just go explore the barn a little bit. So just in case you did not know anything about Valley Forge, there was not a battle fought here. It was strictly an encampment. A lot of people think there was a battle of Valley Forge, but there wasn't. New downspouts. So obviously they're taking good care of it. It's fairly large. Got all kinds of scaffolding underneath here. And it looks like the doors have been newly painted, the windows. Kind of interesting. Can't see. Some old doors in there, some old logs maybe. I see some window shutters, old shutters over there. Very cool breeze coming out of there too, it feels good. Very musty smelling though. We're going to end the video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little walk around some of the older buildings of Valley Forge Park and enjoyed the little bit of history lesson that the guide gave us over at Washington's headquarters. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one.